her family. Please welcome back. We're so glad to have her, Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Watch out when she starts with that, because then she's gonna plant one on your lips. I'm just telling you. The minute she says you look great, just know it's coming.
You know, we're talking last night. I know you were at Rockefeller Center for the tree lighting last night with Susan Boyle, who we were talking about in Hot Topics.
How'd she do?
Oh, my heart went out to her when I saw that.
I know.
I had that happen to me on David Letterman.
So what did you do?
Well, this was years ago. It was the release of the single "Strong Enough," and I sang about one line. And anybody who's ever been to David Letterman knows it's freezing in there. And as soon as I opened my mouth, I sang one line, and then nothing came out. And we finished the whole song. We did the whole song, and I was in and out like, you know, and just croaking through it. And then you hear David Letterman come over at the end, and he says, "Well, you really gave it a good try. You know, you gave it a good effort." And then they let me redo it. So then we do a perfect version of it, and you see David Letterman come on and go, "Well, you gave it a good try." like, oh wow, that really sucks.
I don't believe
That's hilarious.
that bad, because you are such a talent. I have to say, you've got this new CD. I mentioned that you've been in, what, 41 cities across the globe this year. That's a lot. You're raising a 3-year-old boy, Wyatt, who's adorable, and then you just welcomed a 6-month-old little guy, Levi, right?
Yes,
Is his name? Into your family. So, I mean, do they tour with you?
We are a traveling circus. You know, you see all the glamorous things about being on a tour bus, and it's like a big party, but our bus literally is diapers and bottle warmers and toys and books and...
So you come from this too.
Yeah. I mean, you pick up your house and you put it in the bus and you move it. Yeah.
Okay, but now you come from a very large family. You got 4 siblings in your family. So do you want to add to the 2 you got?
I'd love to have 12 kids, but I'm getting up there in age, so. And I have to say, I'm tired. I mean, I don't know how moms do it. I was talking to my mom the other day. She had 4 kids. She had no help. 2 kids for me is... It's chaotic. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a big
you have a big career
too.
going on at the same time.
Well,
I mean,
that's
it's
true.
a lot.
Forget about that aspect. But
Yeah.
I still think it's hard.
I noticed that on your album, one of the songs, the guitar player is the great Keith Richards.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, do you know him very well? He's so brilliant.
I know him pretty well, yes.
And I was just wondering, if you didn't know that he was the famous Keith Richards, a Rolling Stone, would you allow him to babysit with you? Let's say you just saw him come into your room.
Probably.
Would you leave him with your children?
Probably not. I can guarantee you that if he babysat, that Levi or Wyatt would have like fishing tackle hanging from their hair by the end of the day.
Oh, funny.
Probably not.
What about Justin Timberlake? Because isn't Justin Timberlake on one of the tracks too?
He did background singing.
As long as I could be there to assist.
I love the fact that he's on one of the tracks too. I think he's great.
Now, how did you make this happen with Justin Timberlake being one of your backup singers?
Can I tell you? Well, we were dating at the time. And
there you go, Mama.
no, he was at the studio where I was working, and I grabbed him in the hallway and said, "I want you to come hear this." And we just recorded a very kind of Al Green version of "Sign Your Name," which is a Terrence Trent song. And he's from Memphis, so he listened to it and he said, "Wow, you know, I'm from Memphis." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I want to do the backgrounds on it." And a few days later, he came in. And but I have to tell you, it's really funny. And I don't know, he may see this, he may not, but. It's funny when you get to be in my business. You don't have to grow older or whatever. You know, you have like an arrested state of maturity. And I'm standing there with him and thinking, he is darling. I mean, we would get along great. And then I go, well, I'm old enough to be his mom. I mean, you just forget, you know. You're 48 and he's 26 or something.
Well, you know, cougarness is very outre these days. How do you feel about that?
I've dated younger men. Not that much younger, not 20 years younger. I think people, when you get to a certain age, it's not that big of a deal. But I do think there should be a name for men. We always called it bird dogging when I was in college. Like when an older man came in, I was waiting tables, and older man would come in and fire on you. Like he's a bird dogger. He's bird dogging.
Yeah.
Well, I think dirty old man is
dirty old man.
That's a good term. I want to bring this back around for I want to change up the subject a little bit, because you did on your CD, you do a cover version of the Jackson 5's "I Want You Back." Now, a lot of people don't know that you got your first big break singing backup for Michael Jackson. Okay, now
that is some hair.
I love the hair. At that! Look at what you guys were doing.
What year was that?
So was this like was it kind of like a dedication to Michael, or was there any reason why you did
She's still not fixing the hair.
That just terrifies me. I look at that and go,
channeling.
it was 1980. 8 and 89. It was 22 months, and I crashed the audition. I found out about it from some singers. Actually, interestingly enough, one of the singers I sang with is the dad of one of my backup singers, who was she was like 2 when we were on the road. But and then I got to go to the second round, and I got put with 3 other singers, and we went as a group.
Do you have any memories of Michael? How was it working
I
with
do
Michael
have a lot of memories of him, and I had a really good relationship with him. He was already pretty reclusive at that point. He was not comfortable being around large groups of people, which you wouldn't be if your relationship to the universe was having people swarm your car at 5 years old. I mean, he was very, he had a very different outlook. But he was, you know, I've said it on numerous occasions, witnessing him, you really got to see someone in their divinity. And what we saw in the public life was somebody in their humanity or in their frailty or in their imperfection. But I think that we have to remember, I think it really brought us around when he died to examining how we look at people and you know, I think it taught us something about ourselves. But that kind of art and what he did, you know, with even as an early kid, not being black, not being white. I mean, I grew up watching the Jacksons, and I thought my family could have their own cartoon. And there was no black, there was no white, there was no, you know, he was across the board a popular figure, and
he was like that.
He was Michael.
He was. And what he did was authentic and original, and I believe it's divine. So I feel blessed that I got to work with him.
Well, I'm sure. Of course, it had to affect the rest of your career. Hey, we are so happy for you and Wyatt and Levi, all that bunch. We love when you come by. When we come back, Sheryl.